So, hello everybody. Welcome at this session where we're going to talk about how to create brighter future for PhD students and postdocs in life sciences, especially. And welcome very much everybody who is joining for the first time. So all the greetings, all warm greetings from Leiden Bioscience Park. I chose this time, 3 p.m., because I also have postdocs or PhD students joining from US or Canada, so overseas. And this is actually 9 a.m. In New York, at least, or Boston. So that's where I'm the closest community there, but also to some Canadian people. So welcome again. And yes, I think this is very precious time. My name is Schaap-Oziemlak. I'm based here in Leiden Bioscience Park in Netherlands, and Leiden Bioscience Park is the biggest and the oldest biotech or science park in Netherlands. And I think being here already 7 years, developing my startup. So as a scientist with PhD in stem cells, followed by 4 postdocs, setting and preparing to start my company, my startup using collaborative model, and then later on, in a way, developing myself as a coach, as an agile coach. And about agile, I think you already can look back in all the other sessions which I did last year to learn about. But if you are very intrigued and interested what agile is, I would like to invite you for my agile workshops. I will put you later after the session the registration link where you can register for such paid workshops, and you can use your personal budget, because I believe very strongly that having agile mindset and learning about agile helps you to not only work in fast-paced environment or learn how to work more effectively, so working faster than you used to, so in time efficient manner, but also how you can explore agile mindset, especially in transition from academia. And I'm going to draw here to industry. And I know that some of you PhD students already finishing PhD already made decision that after defending PhD, they want to move to industry. And I think important things which we always have to recall, and I'm always, it's important for me also at the top of my mind, is that in academia, only 0.5% of PhDs will become professors. So the rest actually majority has to find a career or discover their career path, find their way in industry, which, by the way, is also representing very competitive scientific sector. And about that, I will talk later. But first, I'd like to focus about agile mindset, which is very important to make this transition from position in academia to industry in very effective way. So agile mindset, it's very important in this process. And as an agile coach, actually 10% of my activity, because I'm also PhD, I also want to empower PhD students and postdocs. I'm also performing coaching one-to-one, so in more personalized way, to help every PhD student and every postdoc from all over the world to find well-matched. So that's something which I like to here bring as an introduction. about my particular background, my PhD, my postdocs, how I started my startup, bio-inspired think tank, and my entrepreneurial and scientific insights. You can just join my YouTube channel, because now we are in live sessions, but YouTube channel where there are videos. You can go to the menu, and you can also please also subscribe. So that helps also to grow this channel, especially this live channel, much bigger, and create community where we can create, and I can create also more options, career options for you. So that can really empower this channel. So please subscribe. This doesn't cost anything. So that would be really great to have you as a part of this live community. And what I also would like to recall here, from my perspective, when I did PhD, where I worked mainly with mice as experimental animal models, there was actually no time to think about what I'm going to do next. So career perspectives, looking for mentors, there was simply no time. I was fully engaged in performing experiments on animals, and with very demanding also supervisor, and challenging project. I had very limited time, so I've been very proactive later on as a postdoc, which helped me very much to grow from fundamental projects towards preclinical projects, and later on actually with the head full of ideas, which I couldn't find time to do it in academia. And my collaborative model as a startup, and coaching also, implementing your coaching skills, I had really great space to do this once I started my own startup. So during usually PhD, maybe this time changed, but not everybody has time. A lot of people have to finish experiments and finalize their thesis and publish, which also is very time consuming, especially when you want to pursue academic career for some time. And with this limited time, I very much realize, also having my startup here and empower PhDs and postdocs as their advocate, is that these sessions are the best quality time you can have now with me as a also coach, as an experienced PhD and postdoc, to discuss whatever challenges, what kind of challenges you have currently. And also you can discuss coaching. You can ask me questions. And this coaching, what I like to maybe comment here, is about not just how to move and how to prepare CV. So it's your entry card to business ecosystem, to industry. It's very different than a typical academic CV. But also how to write motivation letters, and how to proceed to very proactive stage where you actually pitch during networking for a job. And I know already that for many of you, this type of proactive path is not always happening. A lot of you, I met also some which were sending cover letters, motivation letters, and applications for jobs for 7 months, and then they become very desperate or suffocating and panicking what I should do. And I think my biggest advice here is for all of you which are going to listen to this session, is that don't wait 7 months. Don't to contact coaches like me or coach like me, PhD coach, agile coach. If you don't see any responses after 2-3 months, please contact me, because I can very quickly help you in this process of getting at least to the first interview. So that's something which I'm already doing for 5 years. And that is something which I'm very happy to help you, and I very much enjoy the progress of every PhD student, every postdoc, which is moving in this transition to process to industry. So that's something which I wanted to say, that these sessions are really great because this is the quality time of discussing the transition, discussing the career options, discussing very different issues globally and how different, for example, postdocs worldwide are also solving as the postdoc organizations all the challenges. That's also something to keep in mind. But coaching here, especially one-to-one, personalized, is very effective and very agile process. So you don't spend 7 months, but you spend maybe 10 coaching sessions with me to get to the point where you can already have a toolbox with your knowing how your CV should look like, or having prepared CV, knowing how to write good motivation letters, and knowing how to network in order to be invited for the first interview. That's really important. This very proactive path. And I'm here, of course. I know that this is very difficult process in terms of also staying positive and being motivated. So I'm also here, your motivator in this process, in this relatively time-consuming process. So if you think like you already are applying for many months and at least more than 3 months and nothing happened, there was no response, please contact me as soon as possible, because I can really identify very quickly what is the challenge here, and help you very much in this process to get to the first interview. So that's something which I like to share at the beginning. Yes, so this session's high quality time and pitching, which I think it's also important part where you network. I think a lot of people forget about that elevator pitch, and I will come back to this later, because yesterday I participated also as a coach in the online event. It's a BCF event. It takes usually, this is event which is offline, organized once a year, and this is a job career event for PhDs, postdocs in life sciences, but also people with master or bachelors. And what I particularly like about BCF event, this event was organized yesterday online, both for people actually for Belgium and for Netherlands. So it was Belgium-Dutch event, I would say. A lot of, also some companies from Belgium participated in this event. It's very important event because it's online event, so it's very easily accessible. And I know that some of you couldn't join. I talked to some people yesterday during online networking one-to-one, and I realized that some of them actually were registered, but they couldn't participate. So I thought, well, during this session, since I'm just freshly after this event, what it could be very useful, because I also want to make sure that the sessions are useful for you guys. I don't coach here, of course, one-to-one personally, but these are general sessions where I present useful information for all of you, which can be relatable to your challenges. So I would like to give you some highlights. I'm not going to go through whole event, but I'd like to give you some highlights from this event, from perspective of a coach. And I'd like to also give you some lessons and some links. So that's something which I hopefully, to some companies, which I found particularly interesting. And regarding the program, I'd like to go shortly through also some tips on CV, which were discussed during BCF event, but also companies and also panel, which I always found very fascinating. Every year is different because every year there are different people presented there or participating there in the panel, both from academia and industry. And this is panel which is called Academia versus Industry, talking about stereotypes, differences, but also what is shared between academia and industry. And I think this year I found this discussion really interesting, and I'd like to also present some perspectives from this panel discussion as a learning lessons. So first of all, looking at the program, the first session, which there was also there online exhibitions with companies, so every participant could actually go to the booth online and talk one-to-one. And that's what I found also very important, because then you right away connected to representative of company and you can directly already highlight your CV and make yourself recognizable, right? Instead of just send CV by email. So that's an extra advantage to have in your network and have a chat with your CV, having your CV available with company representatives. And also recruiters from different job recruiter agencies, which were also present there. So that's something which I wanted to shortly summarize. Regarding, I will move first, I will talk a little bit, give you highlights about the companies, which I found very important in life sciences, and I will tell you why. And then I will move to a little bit part of the program where CVs, cover letters, but also panel academia versus industry was introduced. So regarding the company, which I'd like to talk about, the first presentation was about what makes GeneMap extra, not ordinary. I found this title quite persuasive, meaning that, well, it can be ordinary or not ordinary or extraordinary. But I think it was very nice presentation. First of all, from principal scientist Azva Mujic-Delic. And I like that she also presented her perspective from her perspective being a principal scientist about GeneMap as organization, which is global, which has more than 70, actually, sorry, around 70 nationalities. It's located in Denmark, Netherlands, US, and Japan. So very international, and actually also in the presentation, which I found particularly important as a woman, gender diversity, which is more or less half-half. And that's what I found very, very nice to see. So there is rather no discrimination towards hiring men, rather women. Also, this company is hiring PhDs. That's important because the movement currently is towards hiring bachelors and masters, because they are simply lower educated. So they are, can tell you personally, cheaper to be hired than PhDs. But what was important, as the principal scientist mentioned, that the PhDs are hired, but for scientist R&D position. So it's not like we have some preferences and we're not hiring PhDs anymore. We do. And GeneMap is a company which is developing antibodies, a specific type of antibodies to treat cancer. So it's a rooted in science company with R&D, global R&D center in Netherlands, in Utrecht, and also, what I was very much surprised, accelerator, which is also located in Utrecht. So in terms of scaling up processes. and developing from discovery stage the innovation, the innovative antibodies in this case. And I think this company also has very important culture. It's very international culture where people matter, where each nationality is respected. So it's multinational in work environment. So it's not predominant that everybody speaks Dutch and everything is in, let's say, adjusted to Dutch culture, but it's very international in Netherlands. So that makes it really, really different compared to other companies. And it's a company which not necessarily what you may think. To develop antibodies, you have to have immunology background. You not have to have immunology background per se. Based on presentation of the principal scientist, you can, for example, project management or being applying for project manager functions, you don't necessarily have to have background as a PhD in immunology. So it's good to know. Company also offers internships, and I talked about this already a few times, that another way to entry company is, even as a PhD, it's always worth to try, is to try to enter as an intern and then develop yourself into paid position or scientist position or higher position. Of course, this is a stepwise process. So company will never right away give you, especially when you PhD with no industrial experience, will never take a risk to hire you right away as a principal scientist, for example, without no experience in industry. So this you have to always remember, that even you have PhD, you have to be humble, start from entry position, but you can grow. And this also depends on your performance. Better you perform, you can grow quicker, right? In your function, you can change function to the higher function, higher responsibility level, and obviously higher salary. Because I also know a lot of you is very much would like to maintain salary level, but sometimes you have to also be humble here. With zero experience in industry as a PhD, you need to be humble in terms of salary. So you will have maybe lower salary, or that also happens, and I'm not afraid to say that, lower salary than maybe at university as a senior postdoc, and that's more about senior postdocs situations. Not fresh first year postdocs. And then you have to realize that yes, this is well-matched job, right? So of course salary is very important aspect, and sometimes you need to with application online already indicate salary range, but this is just pre-estimation for company, and you need to realize that as a entry position you might get postdocs or salary, not higher salary, but you can grow in it, and you can also grow in function. And this growing in function, it will also automatically proportionally increase salary. So it is my advice is also, which was not discussed during this event, and I found important to don't focus on salary. Never negotiate your salary before actually you are invited for interview. This is something which can lead to potential damage, and recruiter from company may not contact your hiring manager anymore, because he realized that salary is more important than the job function for you. So be careful about that. The other thing which I wanted to discuss, I think, about GeneMap, is there something I still want to discuss regarding work culture. I think this is important, that you not just when you are applying send the application to a certain company, that you do research, that you really look at the company website and look at their pipelines, look at their work culture, how they describe themselves, and look also at conferences or webinars they're giving, because you can join these webinars and also ask questions, and you can also in this way initiate contact and make yourself visible, because that's what is important here. Make yourself visible as a job candidate. And with online webinars, which are happening quite commonly now, I think you can really do things in different way from online perspective. So that can be very smart strategic move towards finding and applying for well-met jobs, especially for companies like GeneMap. The same is, I would say, about company which I like to also bring in, is a company which was also presenting, giving presentations there. It's a Kite. This used to be a startup, but it was acquired by Gilead in 2017. It founded in 2009. But already has 4,000, more than 4,000 employees. So that's I think very good sign that the company is growing. The main R&D is in Hoofddorp, if I could find based on the presentation. This company is a company which is focusing on engineered CAR T cells to treat patients. Around 18,000 patients has been treated. It's also a very international company with 50 nationalities. So if you're especially expat, if you're not Dutch, I would really advise you to join this company, because it's also a multinational company with very inclusive culture, the same as GeneMap. So this is two companies which I'd like to comment here. There have been also companies presented at the event. There was a company which is Novo Nordisk. This is a Danish company, and which is specializing in chronic diseases, including also treatments of Parkinson, chronic heart failure, and type 1 diabetes. So any of you which work already in academia, these type of diseases, I think they have really higher match or better match with particularly Novo Nordisk, a company which perform different types of cell therapies. And this company culture is also very international. This company also, because of cell therapy, is enriched medicine and tissue engineering, so close to my heart, because I did PhD in stem cells. And I also applied biomaterials, so exactly in my field. And it's collaborative also company, which creates a lot of different consortia, academic, industrial consortia. So also pursuing innovation in a very collaborative way, which I think maybe a lot of you which did already collaboration with some companies from being postdoc or PhD student, or perform a PhD project which was collaborative project between academia and industry or company. I think if you enjoy this type of environment, which is more agile, more driven by application, right? I think you very much, I think, should apply there and send your application, send your CV. So that's the third company which was presenting and giving presentation during this event. The other aspect which I like to now bring, there is a session which was about how to draft the perfect CV and motivation letter. So I like to comment a little bit here about the title. I think the perfect CV does not exist. I would say well-matched resume. which is given for a particular targeted job position, and a motivation letter, which I will also comment a little bit about that too. What brought actually my attention was regarding CV, indeed, more work experience you have, it will be higher challenge to make your CV compact. And that's why you have to create resume with highlights which are relevant to job function. And that's what I do in personal coaching. I'm helping my coaches to create very good, high quality, competitive or standing out CV. Important thing also which discussed, and I also very often seen that before as a coach, is that you want to make your CV fancy, and that's very understandable. But from the other side, if you put a lot of artistic elements, an artistic infographic, your CV can be distracting the content, so the text. And I think if you are artist, of course, that's more understandable, or graphic designer, that your CV will be more splendid with graphic elements. But here, that also came from the recruiter, which was discussing how CV should look like. You should actually keep it in very clean design, with not too many graphic elements or art elements. So that it's easy for recruiter to screen the CV very quickly. So that's something which I think it's important to keep in mind. The other thing, pages, pages, maximum 1 to 2 pages. I can say that industry very often wants to have 2 pages. They need to have your education. They need to see your work experience. They need to see what have you done at different works, jobs you performed. And I also see here that, it should be anti-chronologically done, so that the most fresh experience is put it first. Of course, this depends. If you are just bachelor or master and you didn't finish your studies yet, you will obviously focus on education and maybe extracurricular activities or other activities. For example, also as a volunteer, right? As an interns. So don't forget about that. That's something which I wanted to comment here. And indeed, also there was a discussion also with recruiter and questions about ChatGTP. I found this very tricky to use to help you to create good CV and cover letter. ChatGTP I'm using it also. And so I know how the text is refined in brackets by ChatGTP. And what I very often see, sometimes the informations which or text which I wanted to refine in ChatGTP is refined to a version which actually is not true. It's not giving true informations. And that's what also has been already discussed, that ChatGTP doesn't really dissociates between what's true and what's not true, and it's building their own, based on this text, building his own, in a way, sentences which are not necessarily actually sounding correctly. Because I have very critical develop sense of critical thinking, independent thinking. When I every time analyze the sentences, I really have to be very careful. And actually, I not always use, therefore, so often ChatGTP. So I would be very careful to use it in refining letters. The other thing which I would like to bring here, one of the important things which can be very appreciated by industry are your transferable skills, which you acquired or should have acquired during PhD. Also, writing your thesis, writing articles. So, writing skills. So, being at PhD level or PhD student level, postdoc level, you should have acquired very good writing skills. And these writing skills should be sufficient to teach you how to write a letter. And if you don't know how to start, please also contact me. I can help you with that. I've done a lot of writing. I'm writing now grant proposals. I'm writing letters, value propositions for different workshops. So very diverse type of writing, scientific, but also marketing writing. So to attract potential investors or clients or collaborators. So please believe in your writing skills. That would be my advice. And please rather not use ChatGTP. And the reason is that also the style, if you look at the style, I very often see that ChatGTP converting any piece of text or maybe cover letter, and be careful here about your personal data, or don't put your name or names of other people, because you should also protect privacy of these people, is turning it into novel-like style. So it sounds like you start to read a book. So recruiters very often also have tools which actually can see very quickly if this is a letter which is written by a person, or this is a letter which is completely written by ChatGTP. It's very clear difference. I can also see that very quickly. So please stay authentic. Please use your writing skills. Don't be lazy. And be creative and apply your already very probably well developed writing skills which you got during PhD. So that would be something which also came from recruiter during the session about the CV and letter, but that's what I also would like to emphasize here especially. So ChatGPT rather not. The other thing which I'd like to mention, which was discussed, yes, CV needs to be structured and needs to also have elements of you standing out. And I can help you here as a coach to make your CV really standing out with my more than 5 years experience doing it. So that's something I think which I'd like to bring and highlight, talking about CVs, motivation letters, and ChatGTP. Then there was a session about our team, service line, digital and analytics. It's about basically these are services offering digital data analysis, but I was very much missing, because compared to other presentations where representatives of these companies, even including principal scientists from GeneMap, were present and giving presentations themselves, even from their personal perspective, which I very much appreciate. And I think this was really great involvement and effort to be there to prepare such personalized presentations from these big companies. Our team, I was quite disappointed as a coach, because there was only presented a movie. And you can, of course, you can create as many movies as possible, but if you are present there live, that's what really matters. That's how you make footprint. By being there, by presenting, that's the way you also start to interact in online environment. So I was very much quite disappointed as a coach that only the movie was presented and nothing more. So then we come into very interesting piece of the program. I love this program. I love it in terms of this piece. So panel where both academic people and people from industry, both from Belgium, but also from Netherlands, from companies like Johnson & Johnson, but also from Belgium companies, are meeting together and discussing the differences between academia and industry. But also this time, this year, there start to be also discussion what academia and industry shares in common. And I was particularly excited about one thing, and I will tell you in a moment which one. This is my silence moment. I will just clean it well. I'm also practicing some moments where there is some silence, so you can also, digest all this information I'm presenting to you right now. But yes, so what was the most exciting in this academia versus industry panel? Was that especially industry was talking about agile. In terms of mindset, in terms of work environment, in terms of priorities, and in terms of project management. So many different ways. So that was very, I think when I heard about this, especially hearing this from Belgian company, I really was very happy that agile starts to be very much recognized in industry, because there are also companies which are a majority of companies in Netherlands actually, based on my research, are representing still non-agile organizations. Few percent represents agile organizations. So it's good to see company which is hiring 800 people, Belgian company, which is acquiring and implementing all these agile practices in their work and innovation. So that was really great to hear that. And that's why I think you need, if you still didn't yet learn about agile, please join my courses to experience how it is to work in agile environment, especially when you want to move to industry. That will help you very much to adapt. That's important part of it, but also learn how to work in industrial environment and what doesn't really mean to work in industrial environment. So that was really important. What I also would like to bring here is that the discussion was about stereotypes. What are the major differences? And I like that one of the academic representatives or representative of academia was retired already academic person. And he said that from his perspective, because he also sometimes in short term, in a way, collaborated with some companies, but from perspective of a person which retired, so already took all this whole almost having academic lifespan in front of him. Yes, for him, academia is to satisfy your curiosity. And I really love that. That can be the major difference. To satisfy your curiosity. That was really something which I will remember for a very long time and made really great impression on me. And that's the best part of the job, academic job. It's satisfying your industry is very different. Industry works agile, at least based on representatives. And industry works on deadlines, time deadlines. Industry is rather closer to application. It works on science. It works on scientific projects, but towards application. I think that's pretty already could be very obvious for you guys. There was also a representative from Johnson & Johnson, team leader, and I also appreciate her perspective. What is the best part of her job as a team leader in a company in Johnson & Johnson is solving puzzles. So if you're very good in troubleshooting as a PhD student or postdoc, you enjoy that. The Johnson & Johnson good match here. But not necessarily only this company, but based on her example, I think I see that, well, she was hired by Johnson. These are her qualities. So that's something which can be attracting in terms of personal attributes and well matched with Johnson & Johnson. The other thing is, yes, if you are industry, you want to develop or work on innovation, which is solving or changing people's lives, right? Solving health global problems. I think that's also important. If you work on some global problem or diseases which are causing like cardiovascular diseases are one of the first causing the highest percentage of deaths. And important also is that in industry, because of agile, you learn how to work fast. It's for the best efficiency or companies with the best results, actually fast-paced environment, especially when I can also compare by collaborating with American companies and experiencing American entrepreneurs indeed or startups. It is not comparable to European. Americans are really working in fast-paced environments, not just about the numbers of hours they're working, but how quickly they initiate business contacts and make deals. It's compared to Europe way faster than happening here, and taking more risks if I can compare American business ecosystem to European or Dutch ecosystem. So that was important, I think, lessons or highlights which I wanted to bring. The other thing is that, yes, I networked a lot. So within three, I am natural strong networker. Through direct networking, I met a lot of my current previous collaborators, partners, clients, and so on and so on. And I realized that there was a possibility to have online platform when you can actually send requests to contact people, and not everybody. That was for me also maybe difficult to understand, but maybe because some people were maybe present in the sessions or at the booths. But people which were online, I think it took me like 2-3 minutes to send a request to connect to 20 people. And within the next few minutes, I would say, or maybe 2-3 minutes, there was maybe 5 out of 20 people which were connecting, and they were available online. So talking to the people which I connected, the first 5, I congratulate them for they being very proactive and responsive, because that's also important part, not just of being very good entrepreneur, but also a very proactive candidate in active job search. So you need to be, at the right place at the right time. If you miss the train, you will never meet hiring manager. And because they are quite busy, very busy agenda, you need to take this time as an opportunity. So please be responsive in terms of time. Faster you respond to hiring manager, faster you call back after sending your application, probably this will put you on positioning in terms of candidates and rather at the highest top list, because what the recruiters see, which you don't maybe realize, is that this is the candidate which is truly committed. This is the candidate which is driven to get a job, to be invited, is interested, is responding quickly. I like this type of candidate, because in business we work in industry in very fast work environment. We need people which respond not only very quickly, but they are very proactive. And I think that's what yesterday showed me, that 5 of these 20 people, yes, if I would be now hiring, right, as a startup, I would invite first these 5 people, right? I want people which are very quickly initiating contact. Upon sending them requests, they very quickly contact me and respond, and they are proactive. So this is some lesson which I hope is very useful lesson to all of you, because this also shows that majority is actually not responding so quickly, or it's waiting, thinking. So also another advice, do not overthink. Don't be scared to contact people, to be proactive, right? So this is something which I'm also teaching as a coach. Go for it. That's what type of people industry needs in this very fast-paced environment. And I understand that sometimes, because as a coach, I can see people which are extroverts. I'm extrovert myself, but I also have very close people, my beloved, which are introverts. And I realized that not everybody acquired so-called networking skills. These are skills which are not necessarily acquired. And a lot of introverted people will not have these skills. They will be blocked. They will send a letter. They can be very good scientists. They can have very good hard skills or interpersonal skills in terms of in very slow initiating contact process. Or they may not have this strong communication skills. That's mostly happens with introverts. So I can also realize that networking here can be an obstacle or can be a challenge. And in that case, learning about agile mindset, also having me as a coach with you, learning about this process, how to take or how to overcome this obstacle, is also part of the process, also to get to be invited to the first interview and hopefully getting your well-matched job. So that's something which I'd like to share today with you. If you would like to contact me, please be responsive. Please be proactive, because you don't know where to start. You have some CV, or you don't have time because you have to finish PhD thesis. Please, or you are struggling already for a few months and you don't get any response. So please contact me as soon as possible. I'm doing it globally, online, for online sessions. These sessions are paid. It's also my work, but it's also my great satisfaction to see you growing and helping you going through this process to receive and get a well-matched job, which you feel happy about. I think, and I will be happy to as your coach. So I would say thank you very much for listening, for active listening. I hope this was really useful. If you have a question, please put it in the comments on YouTube. Also, please do not forget to subscribe. This can really grow our community, and we can build it and create more even opportunities by empowering this channel. So don't forget about that, about subscription. And see you at the next session in March. So very warm greetings from Netherlands, and see you next time. Bye.